So after wearing a bunch of sneakers and different models, I come to create a list of, I think, the most sort of comfortable sneakers and put them in sort of ranking. And what makes the criteria for these particular trainers is, I think, mainly sort of lifestyle sneakers. So sneakers that, I suppose, all sneakers are made for a purpose. So, whether they're running, for basketball, or, for lifestyle wear or casual wear, they become sort of older and sort of outdated tech. But, most of these sort of trainers are fine for everyday sort of lifestyle use. And I've kind of tried to sort of put it down to sort of more popular models, really, so stuff that's kind of sort of floating about. And so I tried to sort of make sure that I kind of covered, I suppose, a wide base of trainers. And I've not included high stack foam sneakers, really. I think they're more sort of for performance based, in all honesty. And the more I wear those sort of high stack trainers, the more I kind of get sort of fatigued after a while. It kind of is the other way around, where it's like too much softness on foot, and even that can get sort of fatiguing after a while. So for me, it's one of those things that I prefer using them for running, and then once I stop doing that activity, then it's best to sort of go with something a bit more sort of neutral on foot, and with some sort of cushioning, but not too much cushioning. That's how I feel anyway. And the last one is, I suppose, comfort is subjective. So you may not agree with this list and what I've created and how I've sort of come about the list, and you may put others further up the list or lower down on the list. First of all is the Asics GEL-NYC. So I've been wearing this particular pair, which is the Hidden New York pair, and I've probably worn these, I reckon, 7 or 8 times now, and thankfully that I've been wearing them during the summertime, so they haven't shown too much sort of wear and tear on them. And in terms of the looks, I always have no issues with the uppers. I try to sort of keep them clean. My only issue with sort of trainers is sometimes the sole sort of wears out quite quickly, and this one's held up pretty well, but there is signs of sort of wear on these. However, what I found, even though they are very, very soft on foot, I found after a while they kind of sort of settle down and sort of almost sort of bottom out, really. So that softness goes away quite quickly in my eyes. And on the sort of 7th of 8th or 8th wear, which probably wearing sort of 3 or 4 hours a day, let's say, I found the comfort on this becomes sort of bottomed out. But initially, when you have it, it is, in my eyes, the softest sneaker that you're going to find. And then next up is the Nike Zoom Vomero 5, and with this particular sneaker, this is one that I picked up recently. I find them very soft on foot, very nice, and there's a little bit of kind of, I suppose, firmness on foot as well, where you don't feel too soft, where it's like almost sort of fatiguing. There's something about these, maybe it's the Zoom Air units that's in there that gives it that sort of more, I suppose, stability and slightly sort of firmer feel on foot, but at the same time it kind of satisfies that urge of it being really sort of nice and soft and sort of neutral on foot, but at the same time giving you sort of enough support. And if I'm honest, I can probably wear these all day and be okay in them, and the more I sort of wear them, the more I love them. And then this is a sneaker that I changed my mind on, actually, and it's one of those ones where it's initially, when I was wearing them, I thought they were okay in terms of comfort, and that's why I gave them a 4 on some of the reviews. But the more I've been wearing them, the more they kind of break in, the more they feel softer, and much like the Vomeros, really, it's one of those sneakers. Again, I know New Balance, it's like a more sort of lifestyle trainers. These ones, I feel like I could just wear them all day and not have any issues, and I don't get sort of fatigue. I think probably really sort of near to the end of the day where I'll get a bit of fatigue. And like I said, I find with the same with the Vomeros, the more you wear them, the more they break in, the more they feel nice. So this is highly recommended on my list. And the pair I haven't worn yet is the Asics 1130 gel. These are obviously the cheaper sibling to the GEL-NYC and to the Kayano 14s. However, they feel one of the softer ones on feet, and not as soft as the GEL-NYC, but they're softer than the Kayano 14s, and that's why they're sort of next up on the list. But if you're sort of after a budget sneaker, then this is a really good option compared to the others. They're £50 cheaper. So I'd sort of recommend this as long as you like the style and design of them. Then it's perfect. I think for me, I'm just not that much into sort of Asics trainers, really. They don't fit within my aesthetic. So the Nike Air Huaraches, I find these to be very comfortable on foot. Probably not as soft as some of the other pairs I mentioned, like the Vomeros and the 990 V4, but there is a really sort of soft and plush cushioning inside. And the reason why I don't put it quite, sort of mid on the soft side of the list is mainly because of, I think people struggle with this inner sock lining, where it's quite sort of difficult to put on, and then you might not like the clamped down feeling on the upper. But in terms of softness, it's up there in my opinion, and you can sort of see from the foam, it feels quite sort of soft to the touch as well, and you really feel it on the heel as well. It's quite sort of nice and soft, so I recommend these as well. And then another pair that I've got is the Yeezy 350s. So these are obviously soft as well, and they have the boost technology in them, which everyone probably knows about that now. And kind of, I suppose, in terms of fashion, they're on the way out, but they're still sort of popular and a comfortable sneaker. I think for me, I find them comfortable, but because of the softness and the boost technology in there, they kind of sort of bottom out after a while, in my opinion. And it's mainly sort of around anywhere between sort of 5 to 10 hour mark. I think it's one of those trainers that if you leave them be for a little while, the boost sort of regains that kind of softness and reboundness. So it's one of those trainers that, like I said, you kind of want to wear them, but not too often, and then you'll get the full effect of the boost. But other than that, I feel like they bottom out quite quickly, and that's one of my issues with these. And they also get quite fatiguing after a while because of that sort of motion of like it being soft and kind of you're pushing your foot downwards, and then you kind of have that sort of reflex motion from the boost that it kind of, like I said, it feels sort of fatiguing after a while. So that's my only issue with these. And then finally in the soft category is the Air Prestos. So as far as I remember, this uses the cushion-on technology, and not like very soft on foot, I suppose, but it's much similar to a 1906R or 2002R. It feels very sort of neutral on foot. There's still softness there, don't get me wrong, but it's more of a neutral sneaker, and you can sort of see that from the foam midsole. Not too thick, but at the same time it has a bit of give, and it's mainly made to do this sort of structure that they've got going on here, where it's sort of cut in between this line, and that kind of provides a bit of flex, as you can see. And as I sort of push down, and it caves in a bit, and that's more for input protection again, and just kind of giving you that nice sort of cushiony feel. And next up we have like medium comfort trainers, and these are sort of trainers, I suppose, that are more sort of neutral on foot and give you a little bit of softness, but at the same time sort of stability and support. And this is the 1906R, and I suppose the 2002R and the 860 V2 all go in the same sort of bucket, because they're all using the same midsole outsole technology, and the footbed, the tooling is the same as across the board for those three models. And I find them to be the perfect sneaker for sort of walking around in, really. The gold and silver pair that I've got are a bit better in terms of comfort because they have a sort of thicker insole. But with these ones, they're kind of all day, every day, and it's one of the ones, including say the Vomero and the 990 V4, that I would sort of choose to sort of wear pretty much on a daily basis, and would be sort of go-to sneakers, I suppose. And then the other pair that we have is the New Balance 991 V2s. And this is another trainer that surprised me, really. I wasn't expecting too much from these, and when they sort of break in a bit more, they do feel slightly heavier on foot compared to some of the other sneakers, but again, giving you that sort of medium comfort. And because it has sort of Fuelcell technology in there, it provides a sort of rebound and effect of feeling lighter on foot, because the cushioning on this, in terms of how the Fuelcell works, it kind of propels you forward. So in that instance, it feels more lighter on foot than it actually should do. But it's got sort of the absorb technology in there as well, which is these gel-like pods on the forefoot and on the heel, and that provides sort of the stability and cushioning as well. But I do find them to be very sort of neutral again on foot, and very nice to wear, and it's one of those sort of versatile trainers that you can wear pretty much any season as well, and I find them good to go, and they're very nice to look at as well, in my opinion. And then another pair that I don't have a pair at the moment is the New Balance 993. So that's another pair that I've worn. However, I decided to sell a pair that I had, but those are similar to these, and I would say give you that kind of medium sort of neutral sort of feeling on foot. And they are sort of an older model as well, but at the same time they do feel nice on foot. And then we have the New Balance 990 V6s. So with this particular pair, it was one of those ones where really loved those initially, and I still do, but the comfort level on these are again neutral, very medium, slightly sort of on the heavier side, but you do get sort of cushioning at the same time as well. So it's kind of, it does feel sort of soft as well. My only issue with these, I found that after sort of wearing them, I suppose after, again, similar to the GEL-NYCs, wearing them sort of 7 or 8 times, they do bottom out a bit. So that's my only issue with these. I think, in terms of like me choosing between 2 different models of, say, from New Balance, I'd probably go with the 991 V2s and the 990 V4s over the V6s in terms of everyday comfort. But don't get me wrong, they're still a really nice trainer on foot. So, but if you're after something with a slightly higher stack, then this is a good go-to option. And another pair that I don't have in my rotation at the moment is the GEL Kayano 14s. I sold my pair a little while ago. But what I will say is they're a nice again, neutral trainer on foot. They're not got too much sort of soft squishiness, but similar to the, I suppose, 991 V2s, they do feel sort of quite nice on foot and quite sort of neutral as well. However, I just don't get on with the way they look on my feet. I think for me, it's one of those, again, sort of with the Asics trainers in general. I'm just not too much of a fan of how they look on my particular feet, but at the same time, they're popular for a reason, and they do feel sort of nice on foot. And then next up is a pair that I got quite sort of recently and did sort of re-retro, is the Air Max 180. And don't get me wrong, these are a bit on the sort of more firmer side. That's where they're sort of down on the list. They're going towards medium firm. But I think after sort of wearing them a few times, whether it's just me having a placebo effect, I find them to get more comfortable as time goes on. This airbag does become a bit more sort of flex and softens up a bit more, in my opinion. And to tell you the truth, I think they feel quite nice on foot, actually, quite sort of neutral again. And I've not had an issue wearing these, but I know other people have kind of sort of said it's too firm for them. But for me, I find it okay. And then next up is the Air Max Plus TN. And I'll put the 95 and probably the Air Max 2013 in the same group, really. And the reason being is they're all kind of similar technology in terms of their midsole. So it's pretty much near enough a full air unit going across the trainer. Obviously the 95 and the TNs have forefoot and in the heel, but they feel very much the same as the 2013 Air Max, in my opinion. And that's why I kind of put them all in the same sort of group. But they do feel nice on foot, again, on the sort of more firmer side. But I still think they have a bit of cushioning, a bit of give, and they do feel very nice on foot. And again, the more you wear them, the more they break in. And, again, it's a versatile sneaker that you can kind of wear anytime. So any season is perfect for these. And then the next pair that I've got is the Asics GT 2160. Another pair that I haven't really worn and probably will not be wearing. But it's one of those ones that's on the firmer side. Again, sort of neutral comfort. But I'd still say it's sort of medium to firm. But again, it's got one of those sort of things that you're not going to get too much softness in this particular trainer. It's more for sort of, people who like running on a sort of more firmer surface. But it's still a nice trainer. It does have sort of these gel-like pods in them as well. But it's not going to give you too much sort of cushioning. And maybe if they're breaking, they might give you a slightly different sort of comfort. But initially, they feel like, I guess, an Adidas Orchetra or an Adidas Adistar. So in the firm category, I've kind of put some trainers that, again, like I said earlier, popular ones. And the first one up on the list is the New Balance 990 V2. And I suppose it's not that popular at the moment, but, it's still one of those trainers that if you're into sort of New Balance, then you probably, look to sort of wear these. But I find them, pretty comfortable on foot and quite sort of nice, really. And again, similar to, say, an Air Max 1. They do feel quite sort of comfortable on foot, and it's another one of those trainers with the absorb tech in there that it becomes sort of softens up over time, and you're not going to get that soft and squishy feel, but you're going to get a very sort of supportive but also neutral trainer on foot. What I will say, these are slightly on the more sort of heavier side. So next up we have the Air Max 1 on the list, and for me it's one of those trainers that is on the firm side. There isn't too much sort of softness, but at the same time, it's a mesh runner at the end of the day, so there is a bit of give on the airbag unit, and I find them sort of fine pretty much to wear most of the time. However, when you get to the end of the day, you're going to feel sort of fatigue, mainly because of the heel sitting slightly elevated. But I wear them just because I think they look cool, and at the end of the day, they are still a nice trainer to wear and give you that sort of mid-80s vibe. And then next up we have the Air Jordan 1. So this is a shoe that was used as a basketball sneaker back in the day, but now is a lifestyle sneaker. Still popular, still selling numbers, not as much as it was once upon a time, but it's still a very nice sort of trainer to have on foot. And I feel like they're a good sort of perfect trainer, very sort of versatile, because you can wear them casually and smart casual, and almost sort of pass them off as shoes as well. So Again, have a very flat footbed, sort of low to the ground. They do have an air unit in there, but you're not going to feel it that much. Funnily enough, if you choose an 85 model, that air unit, it's subtle, but you still feel it a bit more than you do on these OG type pairs. And then next up on the list is the Air Jordan 3. And this is a pair of trainers that I feel is comfortable on foot. And I suppose if I was to sort of wear them every day, I find them fine. And it's got more tech in there than the Jordan 1, but I feel like because of the Air Max units in there, they're sort of more on the firm side. And sometimes I prefer having a flat footbed versus, something with sort of air units that you can sort of feel on your foot. And for that reason, I've kind of placed it, the Jordan 1 above these. But again, it's subjective. But for me, it's still a comfortable sneaker. But I still, would, if I was to choose between the two to wear all day, I'd still probably choose the Jordan 1. And then next up, I suppose, is the Nike Dunk Low or the SBs. Pretty much similar in terms of comfort. Very low to the ground. It gives you that sort of skateboardy ground feel. And not much tech in there apart from, the little Zoom Air unit that you have in there. But still, okay on feet. I wouldn't say it's, excellent. But I would prefer wearing Jordan 1s over these, in my opinion. But still, okay trainer to wear, I suppose, in terms of comfort. But again, give you that sort of firm feeling on foot. And then lastly, we have the Jordan 4. So these are the reimagined Jordan 4 breads. And out of the bunch of GR releases that have come out, or OG colorways that have come out, I think these are the most comfortable. So you have to sort of pick your, trainer to sort of say which one is most comfortable. But I think, this is last on the list because it does feel firm on foot. I have pinky toe issues with these. And I'd still probably wear Jordan 1s and Jordan 3s if I'm wearing a trainer all day. But out of the bunch of Jordan 4s, this is probably the most comfortable after the SB Jordan 4. And if you're choosing, say, the military blue or the white cements, they're not as comfortable as this particular pair, so that's why they're sort of last on the list. But the reason I wear them is, again, similar to the MX ones, they do look very cool on foot, and one of my sort of all-time favourite silhouettes. So in terms of sort of soft trainers, I think for me, one of the trainers that I'd probably wear all day is the Zoom Vomero 5, and this is my top pick in the soft category, and the other pair being the 990 V4s. And both pairs, I don't think you can go wrong with, and the reason I say that is it's just one of those trainers that you can sort of wear pretty much any time and be good to go. And I just feel like both of these trainers are just very sort of soft, but don't give you that sort of fatiguing feel, but very supportive at the same time. And in terms of sort of the medium sneakers, I'd say I'd pick the New Balance 1906R, 2002R, 860 V2, whichever one you prefer. But again, very sort of neutral on foot, but more firmer, I suppose, on foot and more sort of low to the ground. But this is probably the sneaker that I would choose to wear pretty much every day, especially if I was to go on holiday. It's a pair that I would use. Again, like I said, I just like that neutral foot feeling. And this is a similar one, I suppose, the New Balance 991 V2. This is something that I'd wear, I suppose, more on the sort of smart side. So again, if I was to sort of wear them all day, and let's just say I was out, going somewhere, I don't know, for dinner or something like that, this is probably a pair that I'd pick up to wear. And because they got that sort of sophisticated look, but also feel very comfortable on foot and very sort of neutral, similar to the 1906Rs. And I suppose if you're going on sort of more the side of medium to foot sort of firm trainers, then again the Air Max Plus TN, this is a good one for sort of streetwear if you're out and about, doing a lot of walking as well. I think these are also really nice, and in sort of wet conditions are very good because of the outsole being quite sort of trail sneaker vibe and quite sort of chunky. And I just find them, pretty much a very sort of versatile sneaker. Again, more on the sort of firmer side, but I still find them comfortable. And then the final pair that I would sort of recommend, obviously, is a Jordan 1. It's a staple for a reason, and it works. There's nothing sort of to fault it. It's coming up to near 40 years old in terms of the model, but it's just one of those sort of trainers that still stood the test of time, really, and I really, really like it. And again, I would recommend definitely picking this up. And hopefully that gave you a good idea of the sort of comfort levels in terms of trainers and what you should go for, and hopefully it gives you a better idea of the types of comfort that you can get, and depending on your foot and how you feel.